Hi folks, my name is Joel Brass and I'd like to welcome you to both my website and my work and say a few things about how I do what I do. I am an individual relationship and family therapist and a seminar leader. And I've been doing what I do now for 30 years. I guess I wasn't born yesterday. My work is not a job, it is a calling or a passion. I don't think I would have made it past my first client if it wasn't. And I love what I do. I love it now as much or more than ever. And I love it because I really love people, but more to the point, I love being with people who are open, who are honest, who are often not covering anything up because when they begin they're in some substantial pain or suffering. And the words and the relationship that we develop with each other is just incredibly real and authentic, and that's the kind of time I want to spend with people. I want to just cover some of my basic philosophy or approach to the work I do. I would say that I focus on emotional and spiritual healing. The work I do escorts people, you might say, from the outside in and from the top down. It's experiential and it's spiritual healing. My assertion in its most fundamental sense is that we all carry over the course of our lifetimes an accumulation of buried or discounted pain or guilt or fear that we just don't know how to handle, would love to be able to just avoid or pretend isn't there, but it continues to spill out from us into the circumstances and people of our lives. In the individual work that I do, you could say two of the fundamental cornerstones are you can't heal what you can't feel, and you can't feel what you deny is real. And many of us, just to get through life and to get through relationships that we didn't know how to handle, just kept burying more and more of these materials. You might want to imagine this vat or reservoir that we were born with that was originally empty, and now over the course of our lives has not only become full but overflowing. And when it overflows, that's when we start to notice symptoms or dysfunctional patterns in our individual lives or in our relationships. So my belief is that no matter what the symptom or issue, and there's an untold array of them, of course, that can occur, we're all looking for the same thing. We're all essentially looking for more or a more consistent sense of love and peace and safety and freedom and fulfillment in our lives. But we get in our own way. We get in the way of experiencing that as individuals, and most certainly we get in the way of that in our closest relationships. So in individual healing, again, the work that I do is going to gently follow a pace or a rhythm that's comfortable for you into an emotional healing process where, again, we go into that which you are already carrying and identify it. This often can go all the way back to your childhood or formative years in order to identify it and release it now in the present so that you can go on in ways that don't have this unconscious or buried material shape you or misshape you. I also work a lot with couples who are seeking a closer connection or recovering from wounds or hurts or disappointments that they have known with each other. When I work with couples, I see them first individually because it is just so important that each individual take responsibility for the current state of the relationship. You know, we tend to put this responsibility more on the other person than on ourself. And any form of analyzing the other person or blaming the other person or at least attributing more responsibility to what's going on in the relationship to the other person is counterproductive. So in relationship therapy, I ask each person to come in by themselves and for themselves in the first phase, where we are looking only at their part in what has brought the relationship to this point or state. We're looking at their choices going forward, because I don't assume anything there. We're looking at, again, the accumulated hurts or wounds or disappointments that still run them and have probably over the course of time shut down their mind or their heart or their body or their soul for their partner. And above all, with their permission, I have them look at, again, the only person in the relationship that they can ultimately change, and that is themselves. And to look at, again, how they and they alone have barriers and walls and obstructions that have kept the relationship stalled and are keeping it from all that it could be. Only after we complete that first phase individually do I bring the couple together for the second phase, and then after people have become more aware or more humbled or just more responsible, we can move then with our hearts a lot more open and gentle, much more easily through anything that then remains between the two of them that is still in place and needs to be released. In regard to family work, I also work with families, but much like with relationship work, I see each person individually, usually, just to get a sense of their experience of their family, and then bring people together first in twos and maybe threes, and then the whole family all at once. So the work I do, again, is emotional healing work, but it also is anchored in a strong spiritual dimension, because I really believe that we cannot fix our own problems. I mean, we're the ones that created them, and we have to open ourselves up to have access to a higher wisdom or power or guidance that's simply indispensable in our ability to live the kind of life that we seek. To experience a safety and a love that is transcendent in nature, and one that we can be the benefactors of if we open up to. To move on, I also lead 2-day seminars and a 1-year program. The seminars allow people many other rich opportunities that individual psychotherapy doesn't, especially the willingness to become part of a community and in a safe, confidential, supportive environment, to realize that we are not alone in the burdens and challenges that we carry, and that we can learn as much from fellow pilgrims, from fellow journeyers, as from myself as the seminar leader. So the beauty and power of the seminars is the learning can occur exponentially, and the support that's available for people from each other can often lift them beyond the walls or the ghosts or the traumas that individually they cannot overcome. I offer free support group evenings for anybody coming out of my 2-day seminars or 1-year program that really want to implement the changes and the breakthroughs into their lives. It's been my experience that seminars and books can open us up, but that's not the same thing as being able to, in a reliable and consistent fashion, live and maintain those breakthroughs and that kind of temporary opening. So really, there is a full and complete program for anybody interested in opening up to a greater sense of themselves, of their potential, of their happiness and peace. Lastly, I would just add that I'm now instituting a new blog, and that I will be putting on additional videos on YouTube on a selection of all kinds of different topics, including a spiritual program and thought system that has meant the world to me, called A Course in Miracles, that I've been a student of for over 2 decades now. Though a committed student, totally committed student only in the last 8 years. I kind of played hard to get for the first 14 or so. So I would just end by saying that one of my dearest and most beautiful mentors told me that the moment that I open up my shop and put my shingle up, that I should see everyone coming through my door in one way and one way only. And that is that all of us are angels in armor. And then he added by saying that my only job is to see the angel, and all of the armor will eventually disappear. So I look forward to any way, shape, or form that I can serve you. And if you would like to call me or email me or just answer my blog, just go to my website, www.joelbrass.com. And I wish you all the best in your journey through life.